Boom. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me on my spooky Sunday. I mentioned in my last video that this is what's going to be happening on my Sundays now. It's going to be a paranormal series that I share with you either with my past paranormal experiences or something spooky. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. I would really appreciate it. So I wanted to share with you guys some of my spooky experiences I had in my house where I used to live. One of my favorite places where I really enjoyed living, and one of my most scariest places I ever lived as well. A story I have for you was back in MySpace days. If you're not familiar with it or you never had a MySpace, MySpace was the best thing that ever came out in a very long time. It was all about the keeping up with the top 8, it was all about editing your profile, and it was so much fun. And back then there was no Instagram or anything, and at my age I didn't have a phone, so that's the way I communicated a lot with my friends from school. So I would stay up late so much just talking to my friends, sending each other messages, writing on people's pages and commenting and doing all that stuff. And I would stay up really late doing all of it. And every night my mom would come into my room and just tell me, hey, go to sleep, it's late. It's too late to be on the computer, go to sleep. And I would always brush it off and just tell her, yeah, I'll go to sleep in a minute. One day I was on it really late, probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. And my mom would stay up really late as well because she had to work. She's a seamstress, so she was always sewing day and night until all of the work was done. One day I was on the computer and I looked over my shoulder to the door because I thought I saw something. And I look over and I see who I thought was my mom at the time peeking in the door and just, kind of just in there looking. And it wouldn't say anything though. It was just staring at me. And I looked over and I was just like, okay, I'm going to sleep. I'll go to sleep in a minute. And no, it wouldn't move. So I didn't know if it was part of the glare from, when you watch too much TV or you're on the computer really late at night and you look over, your mind kind of plays tricks on you and you see kind of blurry. I looked over and it was still there. I clearly saw a figure. I saw hands. I saw, from this and up, just what I can see from it peeking inside. I saw that it was a person. I ended up telling it, okay, I'm going to sleep, Mom. Like, I really thought it was her at the time. But it wouldn't go away. So I turned off the computer, I went to my bed, and it did not go away. So I made myself go to sleep just to kind of, get rid of it, because it was kind of giving me the chills because it wasn't saying anything. The next morning I told my mom, what was up? Like, you were just standing there, you wouldn't say anything. And she ends up telling me that she did not go into my room, that she was working really late last night, that she just came inside and she just went to sleep. She didn't bother worrying about me, she just ended up going to sleep and didn't bother to go to my room. Especially since it was so late, she didn't think I was up either, so. And I just looked at her so confused and so scared because I was like, I clearly saw you. I clearly saw someone standing there. So I brushed it off and ignored it and just blew it off. Later on that day, my sister ends up telling me something similar. She ends up telling me that she saw something by the door last night. And I looked at her and I was like, what did you see? What did you see? I saw something too. What did you see? And she kind of we both got really excited and hyped up, and she ends up telling me that she saw a girl standing at the door. But at the position she was laying at and where her bed was at, she can see more of the whole body. I could only see straight ahead, so I only saw this part, but she was more that direction, so she could see the full body that was peeking in. And she said that it had a white shirt and it was peeking inside the door. At that point I got so scared because that's what I saw. I ended up seeing a girl or something with a white shirt just peeking inside the door. So my dad was overhearing our conversation, and he's not into anything of the paranormal, scary. He's not into that. Me and my dad with that type of stuff are completely opposite. Well, he was overhearing our conversation. He was like, what are you guys talking about? Why are you guys getting so loud? And I ended up telling him what we saw. he ends up throwing out a joke because my dad makes a joke out of everything, and he ends up saying, oh, well, next time you see her, send her my way. And we're just like, okay, stop, whatever. And we just kind of brushed it off and we stopped talking about it because he made it into a joke and whatever. Well, that night, my dad, he goes to sleep really early, maybe around 8, 9 at the most. And he ends up telling us the next day that last night he felt somebody get in bed with him and hug him. At the time, there was a lot of us living in the house, so my nephew was young, so he liked sleeping with my parents. So he thought it was my nephew that hugged him and went to sleep with him. The next morning, he ends up telling my mom, well, yeah, Anthony was, hugging me really tight or something like that. I mentioned my nephew sleeping with him last night. And she tells him that my nephew didn't sleep with them last night. That it was just him and her, and for damn sure she didn't hug him because she fell asleep really late. She just crawled into bed and just fell asleep for a few hours, and she didn't get in bed and then hug him. My dad was so freaked out. He was just freaking out because he had just made that joke about having her go and sleep with him, and he felt something, and to this day he just freaks out about that situation and doesn't like really talking about it because he really gets scared of it. I don't know what was in that house. I have so many memories of that house and being our crazy paranormal experiences, not only just with me, but with my whole entire family. It's one of my favorite places I ever lived. It was something that we all kind of remember and share, and we, enjoyed living there. Even though there's a lot of weird things that happen, they wouldn't happen every day. It would be sometimes when we were alone. Sometimes it would happen where there was more of us and we all heard it, So for sure, it was something that we all experienced, and we have so many memories. It was really cool. I think so. So that's a little bit of my backstory of my paranormal experiences I had. Hopefully you enjoyed it and it gave you a little bit of the creeps. And if you end up liking this video, like I said, please give me a like. I would really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you enjoyed this video, subscribe so you can always know when I have more Spooky Sunday videos. Alright guys, thanks for joining and watching my video. I'll talk to you later. Bye.